today's video. So in today's video, we're going to learn how to do the 720 degrees flare skirt, right? We are working with a waist measurement of 12 inches, and then a skirt length of 6 inches. Okay, so like I said earlier in the 360 degrees flare skirt video, what the 720 means is you're going to be doing two 360s and put it together, and that gives you a 720 flare skirt. So that means that you're going to be having more fold in this skirt than in the 360 degrees. So it's entirely up to you. So I'm going to bring back what we did in the 360 degrees flare skirt. We had done a full skirt with it, but in this video I'm not going to be doing a full skirt with a 720. If you want to know how to do a full skirt with it, please refer to our 360 degrees flare skirt full video. Okay, this one I'm just showing you how to cut and how to join the stitches on the side, and that's where I'm going to be ending at. All right, so before we carry on, I would like to say a very big thank you to those who have been with us for the first time and still being with us. And I'd also like to say that if you've not subscribed yet, that you subscribe and hit on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a full video is uploaded. I do not do just tailoring videos. We upload bag making videos, millinery videos. Soon to come, we'll be doing soap making, and we also do jewelry making videos as well. So you tend to benefit from all 5 videos in one go if you subscribe to this channel. Right, let's get on with it. So let's do a little bit of calculation and then we get on to the cutting of the fabric. There is a formula for cutting flare skirts, and that is a pi r square, but I don't go by that. And I think I want to teach you the simplest way anyone else who wants to do a flare skirt can do it. So like I said, in the 720, you're going to be cutting two 360s and put them together. And from the first video, we got to know that if you have to do a 360 degrees flare skirt, you're going to be taking the circumference of your figure or the model plus your seam allowance, and then you divide it by 4. The reason why we are dividing it by 4 is that you're going to be folding your fabric into 4. So this time, doing the 720, you're going to be folding our fabric 8 times. In that case, you're going to have to divide the circumference of our figure plus our seam allowance by 8. All right. So the waist measurement is 12 inches. So 12 inches plus our seam allowances, and I'm going to do that 2 inches, and that gives us 14. Okay, so this is the figure, the number we are working with. Now 14 divided by 8 is what we are going to be using, and I think that brings us to 1.75 if I am right. Okay, 1.75. So we are going to be working with 1.75 as the waist measurement of the figure, right? So I have 2 pieces of fabrics here that I have cut out. Okay, and like I said in the earlier video, when you're doing a flare skirt, it's always advisable to use fabric that is soft. So soft cotton, satin, silk, organza, those ones has the fluidity in them. When I say the fluidity, they flow. Okay, so then you can see the effect of your skirt when after you've done everything. Now a good example is this. Okay, now you can see that this fabric is not rigid, so if you want to cut a flare, you can see the features of your flare skirt properly. So I have 2 pieces of fabrics here. I'm going to fold it into 4. Now what I mean by fold into 4 is that this is my fabric on a stretch. I'm going to do 1 fold like that and then do another fold. So that means that we folded it into 4. Okay, I'm going to set this on the side and do the same with this other piece here that I have. So I'm going to fold it, that one too, into 4. And then we proceed to cut our waist measurement out. Okay, so in this fabric I'll need a total of 1.75 inches as a waist measurement, and the same goes for this one. Now let's do it together from the center. So we're going to be pinching our fabric from the corner here, right? So from this corner, measuring down, I'm going to just take it at any point and then try and measure my 1.7 on that spot. Okay, so let's see, I'm just going to start measuring here, right? And then from here, Okay, now let me bring it here rather to 1. So from here to here, 1.5. I'm going to take 1.5 inches all the way around. Now again, it's always advisable to do your measuring on the reverse side of the fabric so that your markings wouldn't show. Okay. So you can just start at any point, but I've just eyeballed it to say that let me start my measurement from here and take it all the way around. And then after that, put my tape measure on it to see if I can get my 1.7 here. But look at it. What I have now is like 2.5 inches. So that is way bigger than what I'm looking for. Okay, so I'm going to go up here from here to here and take my measurement from there. Okay, take it at 1 inch exactly, and then take it round and see. Measure this point here and see. I think this does it. You see, so here we are. So this is 1, then 1.5, and then 1.75. So I'm going to be cutting my waist line on this point. Okay, so that's why I'm cutting my waistline. Now from this point measuring down is where I'm going to be taking my skirt length, and for the skirt length we said it was 6 inches. All right, so we are going to be adding 6 inches for the skirt length plus 1 inch hem allowance plus half an inch seam allowance. Okay, so 0.0, or sorry, 0.5 seam allowance. So in total we are going to have 7.5 inches skirt length. I hope I make sense. So our 6 inches is for the actual skirt length, then we have to add our allowances to it. Okay, so 6 inches plus 1 inch hem allowance. So hem allowance is what you're going to be folding in. That's your hem allowance at the bottom of the skirt, and then plus 0.5 or plus half an inch seam allowance, okay, to take care of the seam at the top. It's actually 1/4 of an inch, but I left half an inch because this is what will help you fold it in at the top here. So in total we are going to be cutting our skirt length to about 7.5 inches. I didn't get 7.5 in my fabric, so I'll just leave it at 6, okay, for the sake of the fabric. I didn't get that, so let's say it's the skirt length now is 6 inches. I'm going to take 6 inches all the way around. Okay, so from where you cut your waist measurement, measure it straight here. You can just measure it like that and then leave it. You don't have to go all the way around. These two measurements is perfect enough for you to start cutting. So I'll just cut up to these 2 points, right? Then I'll fold my fabric on top of each other, making sure that I'm lining up my waist measurement. Okay, so here, let me put a weight on it to put it down. So I'm going to cut okay, fold it some more, but make sure that you're always, as usual, lining up your waistline. So I'm just trimming this little bit here off. Okay. Okay, so I have this. I'm not going to do any measurement on the second fabric. I'm just going to bring the second fabric back and then line them up. So look at where the fold is. I'm just going to line it up that manner at the top here. If you like, you can put a couple of pins in place so that your fabric doesn't shift, but you're going to be cutting around the areas you've already cut. Okay, so I'm going to cut the bottom now. So we have two 360s. If you can see, I'll just take one side and split it open just on one side, because that is where we're going to join bits, right? And then do the same for this one here as well. Okay, so if I spread it out, I have that, and then I have this. So I'm going to stitch one side together, and then we would leave the other side opening for our seam, for our zipper opening. Okay, I'm just stitching 1/4 of an inch. That is what I'm taking away from the seam allowance we left earlier. So we had left 2 inches seam allowance. I'm just stitching 1/4 of an inch. I'm just stitching 1/2 of an inch away. Okay, so 1/2 of an inch is what I'm stitching off this side seam. I'm going to go to the machine, stitch this down, and then we'll take it from here. Okay, so you remember that we added our 2 inches seam allowance. So that is what we have here. So 1/2 an inch seam allowance, 1/2 an inch seam allowance. That gives us 1 inch seam allowance that has been taken off this end. And then the 1/2 an inch seam allowance and 1/2 an inch seam allowance is also another inch that has been taken off this end. So in total, we've taken off our 2 inches seam allowance we added on. Okay, so this end is the opening for our zipper. If you look at it, you can see that this is a very full flare skirt. So this skirt actually has a lot of folds than the 360. So this is what we have for the 720, and this is what we have for the 360. You can see that you still have your flare in it, but it's not as bigger as this one is. If I try to spread this out, just look at how big that flare is. So this gives a lot of volume for the skirt. Okay, like I said, I'm not going to go ahead to finish off the skirt. You can do that on your own, and you can leave your experience in the comment section for us. But this is it. So you have to finish off your waist area like we did with the 360, and also finish off your hem area like we did with the 360. So we've come to the end of today's class. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give our video a thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed already, please subscribe and hit on the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video is uploaded. Until we meet again in our next video, have a lovely